Hi there, and thanks for joining me. I'd like to congratulate you for signing up for this course because this is the first step, is actually making a decision to do something about your decision making. We're talking about starting to make decisions to start making profits. I want to show you how critically important proper decision making is, and not only show you how important it is to make decisions, but show you how to make the correct decisions. How many times have you had, spent a sleepless night thinking about a decision that you already made, or thinking about some decisions that you have to make, and you agonize over that over and over and over again? What I want to show you how to do, because if we can't make a confident decision, then we're not able to progress in our business. And what I want to show you how to do is know that, maybe you can't win everything, right? You can't always make the right decision, but you can at least know that you made the best decision. Let's talk a little bit about our decisions. Decisions are the building blocks of life. Everything that you decide to do today, and we're going to make, hundreds of decisions in any given day, but every decision that we make is really going to affect us long term. It might even be small decisions, seemingly small decisions, but all of them together, everything that we decide takes us down a certain road. I might decide to have an extra Reese's peanut butter cup today, and that might lead me to an addiction that eventually I'm on a road to being overweight. And that's, it's a very literal example there. Something like that actually does happen. With your business, the same thing occurs. You could make a decision today and get yourself into a habit of not being productive and not being able to put out what you need to put out. You also have, of course, the myriads of stories that we can hear about people that made seemingly a small decision, and later it brought them to wealth, popularity, you name it, just because of, seemingly being in the right place at the right time. But it was a decision that they made that brought them there. One of the pitfalls of decision making as human beings is because of the way our mind works, because of the intelligence level that we have. A lot of animals don't have to deal with this, but we as human beings, we do. And that is the tendency to second guess our decisions. How many times have you agonized over a decision? Maybe it has to do with your business, personal relationships, you name it. And then after you make the decision, you start second guessing yourself and rethinking, was that the right thing that I did? Should I possibly do this or that? What I want to help you do, and the goal of this course, is so that you make confident decisions. In other words, I'm going to show you processes. I'm going to show you where the little tricks of ingenuity and being intuitive come in, and how you merge all this together to make a confident decision, so that after you've made the decision, it stands. As far as you're concerned, that was the best decision that could be made given the information that you had. Now, is it possible still that you make a wrong decision? Absolutely. There are a lot of factors. Scientists will tell you about the chaos theory. There are a lot of factors we cannot control at all. And sometimes that stuff just happens and there's nothing that you can do about it. But you can still know, hey, I made the best decision. A lot of times, we also make decisions to please others. And this is a bad trait that I want to steer you from. I want to show you how so you can detect this kind of thing. Also, not only you, but let's say that you utilize one of the techniques that we're going to talk about later on, huddling, where you have other people helping you make decisions. Realize that they could be caught into a trap of just making a decision to please you. Maybe you're the boss, a supervisor or something. And the problem is, if you get a room full of people that are just trying to please you, you're not going to get anything done, let alone the right thing. Our decisions, everything that we decide, great or small, is going to affect our future. And not only our future, but the future of those that we're involved in, those that we come in contact with, and possibly even people that we never meet. So as you can imagine, to me, decisions are very important things. And what we want to learn how to do is make a good decision. That's the real question. That's the thing, that pretty much everybody wants to know is, how do I make a good decision? Not just how do I make a decision, but a good one. Because the fact is, there's lots of people out there making bad decisions. In fact, check this out. 50%, I'm talking about half of all business decisions are wrong. That's from a survey by AMI. It's a real deal statistic. 50%, half of the business decisions made are the wrong one. And think about that for a minute. If a business can stay in business, even though half the time they're wrong, what could we do? How could we turn that around if we could help people to make the right decision? What could that do for your business? If half the decisions that you're making today are the wrong decision, and you might not, it's not always cut and dry. You might not always know, okay, that was a wrong decision, because you don't see the end of it, right? But if you could factor in everything, if you had a formula, if you had a process that you could go through that you knew would make the best decision, where would you be now? If your business was what if you could up that to, like 75% of your decisions were the right decision, or maybe 85% of them were the right decision? How much more would it help your business? So what we want to do is not so much focus on the decision itself. When you're confronted with a decision that you have to make, what I want you to focus on is the process that you're going through to make the decision. There are lots and lots of very, very successful business people, very successful personal relations people. People are successful at a lot of different things that require decision making, and they don't necessarily know exactly how or why, what it is that allows them to make good decisions. But what I'm going to do for you is break that down so that you actually have a process. Some people are better at decision making than others. So the goal here is to improve your decision making by having a process and knowing what process to use. You'll find that if you go through a process, and some of the things that I'm going to talk to you about in this course, there will be several different ideas that you'll run through, kind of like a checklist. And as you go through, you might actually get to, the first one, and it doesn't fit the situation. There's nothing, it doesn't help. It doesn't motivate you. It doesn't give you any ideas. That's fine. We go on to the second one. That's the way that it's designed. If that one doesn't give you anything, you go on to the third one, and eventually you're going to get down the creative path that you need to in order to start getting ideas to make these decisions. So it's a process. You will actually, map things out, so to speak. Now, you might not always do the right thing, okay, because of that chaos theory. There could be unforeseen events. There could be something working behind the scenes we don't know anything about. There could be something that was totally unexpected and we never, imagined it happening. All of those are possibilities. So you might not always make the right decision, but with what you learn in this course, you're going to know that you made the best choice. Given the information that you had, you made the best choice. It's like trading on the Forex market. If you're a beginner Forex trader, you will at times make a correct decision. Most of the time you probably won't, and you'll lose money. But as you gain experience, you will then make decisions based on the information that you get, and a lot of times those information will help you to make the right decision. But there could be something going on in the world that you're not aware of, and you're following your system, and just before you're getting ready to sell your currency, something happens that you didn't know about and that you had no control over, and the price drops out of the market. Okay, it's still possible. With everything that we do, we can't guarantee that you always make the right decision, but you can know that you made the best choice, and you can be confident in that. That's a real strong point in this is that you want to know, you want to retain that confidence and know, hey, I made the best decision. Because if you don't have that, then the next time you come up to a brick wall where you got to make a decision, maybe a fork in the road, you'll be stuck because you'll feel something. You'll feel bad about the last decision you made that wasn't seemingly the right choice. For some people, I'm going to be teaching you how to actually slow down the decision-making process, because there are people out there that are, they're go-getters. They come up to a problem and they make a decision, boy, like that, real fast. And in those situations, you actually want to slow down. You want to analyze things a little more. You want to go through the process. Then we have other people that are very analytical, and they will investigate every little piece of evidence. And a lot of times those people, you're hard-pressed to get them to make any decision at all, right? But the process that we're going to see here, and this whole system works for everybody, from the top-level executive all the way down to the mom at the grocery store that can't decide which box of cereal to get for her children. You'll be able to apply this to your everyday life. Again, business, personal, financial, you name it. We are the sum total of all our decisions, and I might add, all of the books we read and the people we meet. Whether you like it or not, the decisions that you make and the information that you take in, the people that you associate with, those things make up who you are. And that's why it's so important and why I want to show you how to make the best decisions. Where you go in life, what you end up doing, what you become, is a result of your decisions. There are definitely, we hear the stories of being in the right place at the right time. There's a factor that definitely plays. But some people are in the right place at the right time, but they don't realize it, and they can't make the decision necessary to get that rolling. Other people are not in the right place at the right time, but they make decisions that affect getting them into the right place at the right time, and then at that point, they can also make a decision. Let's take a look real quick at some of the characteristics of people that make consistent, good decisions. These are confident decision makers. I'm talking about people that, they can sign off a $10 million deal and not even bat an eye because they know they made the right decision. First off, they know when to make decisions. That is a big one. A lot of people, like I said a minute ago, they're in the right place at the right time, but they don't know it. So they don't know when to make the decision. And there are a lot of situations in life where it comes, you come up to a point where it's like, okay, there's a decision that needs to be made, but they just make it right then and there, where if they sat down and they went through the process that we're going to go through, then they would realize, I don't need to make this decision right now, and it wouldn't be best because I don't have enough information, or some other pieces will be better in place if I put this off and make this decision later on. Good decision, confident decision makers have the courage to delegate. That means having other people make decisions for you. Here is the thing with that. Let's say you're a supervisor and you've got 3 or 4 people, some managers or something that are under you. There are a lot of things that here's the way I always look at this. If you hire somebody to do a job, do you want to babysit them? I mean, I don't. I want to hire somebody and I want to let them do their work, what I hired them to do. If I hire somebody, it is for the purpose of them either doing something that I can't do or doing something for me so that I don't have to do it to free up my time. Now, if I am having to sit there and babysit them, then, I didn't save any time, right? So if I come up to a decision that needs to be made of whether I'm going to hire somebody, I'm going to look at all these factors, and then I decide to hire them. That person needs to, have my trust that they are going to make the right decisions themselves. Now, where does that come from? Well, you're not going to be able to let go and let them do that unless you have mastered the art of decision making and can convey to them even the process that you would like them to go through in making decisions. And I will interject this. If you give somebody, just like you're not going to always make the right decision, neither will the people that you delegate to. They will make mistakes. You have to allow for that. You have to give them an opportunity to do a little bit of learning too. And yes, somebody could make a mistake that could cost you some money, but you could just as easily make that mistake. You might have even made the same decision that they made that got you into the trouble. Okay, but the point is we want to be able to make the best decisions, and we want to be able to show others that we're working with how that they can make the best decisions. And then we, as the manager or the supervisor, the business owner, whatever it is, have to have the courage to then hand that decision-making process over to another individual. Confident decision makers do not always have to have all the ducks in a row. They don't have to have all the pieces in place. A lot of individuals, analytical types, will want to evaluate everything. And here's the thing about that. If everything's not in place, they can't make a decision. They can't get over that. So a confident, well-rounded decision maker does not have to have that. They're able to make the decision with a degree of ambiguity if necessary. Sometimes, a decision has to be made quickly, and we don't have the luxury of having a whole lot of time to analyze all the different pieces. And the secret really to that is that we have to be able to make a decision with intuition, which we're going to talk about a little bit on the next slide. Believe it or not, I'm not going to get too far ahead of myself here, but intuition plays a big part in the role of successful decision makers. It's not all science. It's not even the process that I'm going to give you is not a total 100% solution. Those magical decisions that are made, the things that help us to invent and discover new things, those decisions, a lot of them are made with not only a process, but sprinkling in some of that intuition, mixing it up, and creating a combination that allows us to make better decisions. A confident decision maker also has courage to act. Now, how about that right there? How many times do you get to the point that you do nothing because there's so much going on, there's so many decisions you have to make, you can't actually make the decision and it comes to a standstill and nothing happens. These four qualities are characteristics, if you will, that people that make consistent, good decisions possess. And I can show you how to build these, even if you don't have any of them right now. By the end of this course, I believe that you will. Now let's talk a little bit about that intuition. There is definitely a role that intuition has to play in confident decision making. This has to do with your experiences. It has to do with things that you've gone through, things that you understand, and just feelings that you get. A lot of times, an intuition, what you would call a gut feeling, is the right decision. But as a confident decision maker, I am able to, put things through a process, go by a gut feeling, but then also have the courage to act. And if I make a mistake, I have the courage to face that. A famous real estate investor, I'm not going to mention his name, but once closed a deal, and because of the deal, the timing and everything, there were some factors unforeseen, he lost about $200 million literally overnight. That was a bad decision, but it was the best decision. How about that for an oxymoron, right? But it was the best decision given the information that he had. And again, there were things outside of the circumstance that he could not foresee. And therefore, it was a wrong decision. But did it stop him? Did it hinder his confidence? Not at all. He went on later on to make many, many more times that doing the same thing, going off of his intuition and decision-making skills. So decision-making, good decision-making, brings in together logic with intuition. And we're going to be talking about a little bit, I'm not going to do too much, but a little bit of that left brain, right brain stuff that causes people to tend to make a lot of decisions logically, or also to make a lot of decisions emotionally. And what we want to get is a very helpful balance, because some decisions cannot be made with strictly logic, and definitely we don't want to make all of our decisions with emotion. But what we would like to do is get a handle on the both and be able to put into play the one that we need at that given time. Because a lot of times we could evaluate a problem analytically, we look at things logically, we get something solved, but we can't figure out the exact problem. We need some creativity. And then we have to get that right brain involved. And the thing is, if you don't know how to do this, if you don't know how to stimulate these different aspects of your brain, then a lot of times the right brain will just not wake up for you when you need it. So sit back, relax, take some notes. You might want to get yourself a pen and pad before you go on to the next video, and let's get started.